Alright, I'm going to be playing the Stanley Parable today. Completely new game to me. Never played or seen it before, so I don't really know what to expect. But I've heard it's good. It's got great reviews. Gotta sort out the video stuff here. 16 by 9, 1920 by 1080. I know at least what the Stanley Parable is. It's a game. It's a video game. Other than that, no. Is it? I guess first of all, what is a parable? Where's my what is a parable? No, I already donated more than enough money to Wikipedia. Stop asking me. I'm not playing on Minecraft until later, Mr. AJP Cool. I'm going to be playing the Stanley Parable to start out today. I'm not sure for how long. I don't know how long it takes to play through, but for a while, for sure. Alright, so a parable is a succinct, didactic. What does that mean? Stop it. Didacticism is a philosophy that emphasizes. I can speak today, I promise. These are just big words. These are like $2 words right here. Didacticism is a philosophy that emphasizes instructional and informative qualities in literature and other types of art. The term has its origin in the ancient Greek word related to education and teaching, and signified learning in a fascinating and intriguing manner. Didactic art was meant both to entertain and to instruct. Didactic plays, for instance, were intended to convey a moral theme or other rich truth to the audience. Example of didactic writing is Alexander Pope's An Essay on Criticism, which offers a range of advice about critics and criticism. Okay. In prose or verse, which illustrates one or more instructive lessons or principles. It differs from a fable in that fables employ animals, plants, inanimate objects, or forces of nature as characters, whereas parables have human characters. A parable is a type of analogy. Some scholars of the canonical Gospels in the New Testament apply the term parable only to the parables of Jesus, though that is not a common restriction of the term. Parables such as the prodigal son are central to Jesus' teaching method in the canonical narratives and the Apocrypha, which is works, usually written works, that are of unknown authorship or of doubtful authenticity, or spurious, or not considered to be within a particular canon. The word is properly treated as a plural, but in common usage is often singular. In the context of the Jewish and Christian Bibles, where most texts are of unknown authorship, apocrypha usually refers to a set of texts included in the... I don't know what that is. I would prefer not to get any advice, like, as I'm trying it out. If I get stuck somewhere, then if I ask for help, then definitely. But for now, I would prefer to just try to figure things out on my own. Thank you, though. Alright, so this is some sort of it's got like moral or philosophical lessons in the game or something. I don't know. What does advanced do? Anti-aliasing? I don't know. Yes. Hello, Trent. Uh-oh, it moved it. Alright. Yes, let's begin the game. The game is afoot. End is never the end is never the end is never the end is loading. The end is loading. The end is never. The end is never the end. Never the end is... Lots of narration. Alright, let me turn up the audio, make sure you guys get the full blast of what's going on here. Is it frozen? I wonder what is loading. Oh. Click to skip.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Loud enough for you guys?
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
So I can crouch down. Mouse doesn't seem to do anything besides look. Hate Mondays? Yeah. I have to step out of my office.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Partition Corp. Providing partitions for 50 years. I like work. I just hate my boss.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Who farted? Fart jokes. Where's the meeting room? Be my Valentine? Aw. Who farted? That's a popular one. Oh, I can't click on some things. 420, room 420. Guess I have to keep going through the open doors. I hate Mondays. Yep. Oh, someone spilled their coffee. Huh. Oh, subtitles. Good idea. Thank you. Video. Audio. Closed captioning. Full captions. I always forget that.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
That's what the narrator wants me to do. I guess I should do it. What's through that door though? They look the same. I guess I should listen. What about the other door? What would have happened? Guess we'll never know. Have to play this game again. It is 11:28, and the clock actually works. It's moving. Huh? That's cool. What is that? The outside? It's very bright, but you can't see anything.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Let me try. I gotta move my webcam over, I think, so I don't block the subtitles. There's a lot of meetings. Push for funding for research and development of new coffee machine. Get Chris out of the broom closet. Hire someone to synergize papers. Papers are too synergized. Fire the paper guy. Hire somebody to fire the paper synergizing guy. The future was yesterday. Tomorrow is now. Sorry. Want to get rid of the death sport portion in the primary review schedule? I think it's a stupid idea. More water coolers, more water cooler heaters. Work harder, hard worker. I don't know how long the game is. How long do you think it normally takes to play through? What do people want? Things, money, more money, things, but with money to buy more things. Graphs about things and money. What's across that one? Happy feelings. Mike James, you are fired. Graphs about things and money. We have our new product. Interesting. Number of slides on the slide. Rate at which charts on the same slide depict the same information. 3 hours? Please no more charts. The boss appreciation minute. Circle the top 20 things you love most about your boss. Fill out and triplicate it in return to your boss appreciation specialist. If you ever find yourself in a conflict with another diligent employee like yourself, hey, go back. What's controlling this? I don't see any computers around here. Tips for not getting fired. Talk less. Do unbelievably amazing work all the time, every day, with no expectation of promotion or recognition. Don't get fired. How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball up inside you. Take it out passive aggressively on other coworkers. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more. First time. Yep. I've never seen this before. Throw some bevel in the text. Yeah. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Depends how fast I go. Probably not too fast. I like to read all these things.
Stanley just stood there doing nothing at all. He seems to think I have nothing better to do with my time than to sit around and describe every fascinating little detail of his inability to do anything. This is why Stanley and I are on such good terms.
Is that sarcasm? I think the narrator's being sarcastic. I wanted to see there's one of the slides I didn't get to read all the way because I read too slow. It's very interesting so far. I like the narration. You're the kind of person who initiates conflict. Why do we hire you? It takes 2 people to start a fight, and right now I'm both of them. Alright, fine. I'll continue. Sorry, narrator. Broom closet. Oh, it opened. So I can click on some things. I don't know if I want to go in there, because the door might close and lock me in there. What was that?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Upstairs. What's downstairs? Ah, this game! Who is the narrator? I should listen to them, I guess, right? Is it this floor? Not this floor. Executive bathroom? It's locked. What if I have to go to the bathroom? Locked. What an office. My goodness.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Well, I know it now. I can hear you, Mr. Narrator. Secret keypad.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
2, 8, 4, 5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Passageway? Oh. Okay. Generator running? Should probably be better ventilation if you're running a generator inside, but hey, what do I know? It's over here. It's too dark, I can't see. I don't want to go down there. Guess I go in the elevator. Loading. Loading. Either they do the exact opposite of everything he says, or they just do exactly what he says.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Good.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Huh. Escape or mind control facility? It's down there. What's in here? Once I go through the doors, then they close and I'm locked in. Is that a camera? Seems to be a camera. This is the very long hallway. I don't know if I want to escape. Like, I don't know what I'm escaping from. Narrator hasn't steered me wrong so far. It's very dark in here. Can I turn up the gamma? Is there brightness? No brightness settings.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Not sure what choice I have.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Well, what number was I? 427? Yeah, that looks like where I started, 427. Or those ones are higher than the other ones. I don't see any people. It's a cool sound. I like that sound. I think I got fired. Let's blink. There's 600.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I wonder who number 69 is. Okay.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
This one only has happy and sad. I'm guessing red and blue are happy and sad. But we're yellow and green. Can I press them? I can. Doesn't do anything. This is offline. Can go up these stairs. I think I want to go down into the red pit. These are all offline. Doesn't do anything. What's this thing? Console disabled. There's a door. The red light. Doesn't do anything. This one's got a nice light blue. Number 10. Does nothing. Facility power. The stairs go up to a button. There's a number 5 button. Mind control idle awaiting input. What's number 5 do? Nothing. What's up there? That's where I came in. It's number 4. Doesn't do anything. One and 2. Does nothing. Does There's nothing. All right. System power on or
And when
off.
at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Off or on? It's already off. Apparently it was not already off.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
End is never the end is never the end. I'm back in my room. It's 11:21 a.m. So it just starts over? What if I had pressed on, right? I don't know. What if I had gone through the right hallway? What if I had gone down the stairs instead of up the stairs?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Huh.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Or you could try every door. Maybe some other door is unlocked. Maybe not. Waiting input. I didn't try all the doors before.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Huh. Huh. The Grim Reaper says go to the right. Mischievous says go to the right. I don't know. Would you listen to someone that says that's called the Grim Reaper? Or someone that's mischievous? Zion says go right. Superior says go in the middle. I can crouch though. I didn't use crouching at all. There's gotta be some use for the crouching. Why else would they have that be a feature of the game? Go behind me. It's locked.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Perhaps. Perhaps I did.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Number 1, Dad.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
They're nice paintings, you know? Some leaves.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy.
All right,
It reflected
sorry.
poorly on his overall, but at last he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
There's another door. But he said I should take the first door on the left. Huh. I don't know. I could get back on the path and go see what the on button does. Oh my gosh. Decisions. Okay, I want to see what the on button does. There was all those numbered buttons in the other room.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Oh, but there's an elevator right here that I could go down. Huh. Ha. It's already almost 11:30. I've wasted time.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I haven't gone through any doors yet, so I can always go back up. What's down here, though? A fire hose? Is that a car? Looks like a car that's running. Someone left a... There might be a person in it.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
There was a car
And then
running.
something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, For just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Was that Stanley? That's Mariella's whole story? Okay. So I do not want to go down those stairs. Ever.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
It's different now. The end is never the end. The end is never the end. All the computers changed. Huh. That one didn't change. Awaiting input. Input received. Okay. Huh. Wonder what that did. Oh. They just turn off. Were these ones all? Huh. Didn't seem to do anything. That one doesn't have a black screen. Looks like they're playing solitaire.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh man, there's so many options. Like, we could go, instead of going into mind control, we could go through the escape. Instead of pressing the off button, we could press the on button. If we go to the right, we can go straight ahead, or we can go in and go down that elevator. Huh. There's a lot of options. A lot of options.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
don't know if I go in here and the door closes. That would be bad. Doesn't look like there's any way out. Oh, but I can click and open it.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
There's nothing here. He's right.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. That was locked last time. It works. I've got the feeling money is for stealing, but not yours, of course. Say, that's a lovely purse. Huh. Extreme bathrooms. Time magazine. The mirror doesn't work. Nothing happens in the bathroom. Huh. Okay. The doors close themselves. This was not unlocked last time either. Is it a hand holding a gun to a panda's head? Business strategy? What? Shapes? Yes. Okay. Up or down? Last time we went down, it ended poorly. Let's go up. Did someone just whisper Stanley? Uh-huh. So I wasn't actually moving? Hello, you're too easy. I could try going down. I guess I'm making an assumption that this is actually an elevator. Could just be a box that shakes. Okay, that's weird.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh, I was gonna say it's nothing, but apparently it goes over also. Oh, just a little. Is there anything over here? Can't see anything. Can't move in either direction. Looks like some kind of vent, but can't do anything with it. It's odd. Quite odd.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Do I want to do the on button, or do I want to try to escape? I want to know what on does first.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I do. Maybe? What? Why would there be so many desks? Can't do anything with them. Just a prop, I guess.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
He's turned on.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Do nothing. Can't press it again. if it's the same image every time for every employee. I like the sound. It's a cool sound. It does seem to always be the same.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
That couch, the lounge chair, there's several of those. 393. 393. This one. 293. 193 also. 93. So every 100 they're the same. So 104 is fired. Is 204 also fired? No. 234 is scrambled. Huh. What? 234 is different. .34 is the same. Some of these are really weird. I don't know.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Guess the red pit wasn't so scary after all. I'm gonna press the buttons in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's that big red button? It's just lit up. noise changes. If that matters. This button doesn't do anything. Waiting input. There wasn't a number 6 anywhere, I don't think. Why? I did them in order. Maybe reverse order? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5. Four. Three. 2, 1. Does nothing. I didn't miss anything over here. Door's still locked. This thing's got 4 lights. I guess nothing. Nothing seems to change.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
I guess here we go. Let's see what happens.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
No.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood.
Maybe there's a way to turn it off.
Die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though.
Incorrect.
This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go.
Yellow.
But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go around will be even better. My goodness, only 34
Yellow.
seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
Yellow.
You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley.
Re-enter
Time
passcode.
doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
Yeah.
Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running
Green?
from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons.
Hello?
No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door.
Blue is 3.
Everything, anything. Something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose
Fail,
in this
safe,
place
disable.
is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
I shouldn't have turned that on. Back where I started. Huh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Computers are back
No
to
matter
normal.
how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I can only turn them off. Hey, 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 dude!
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office.
There's a guy.
But it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
That was different. There was a dude. I saw that. Input received. Now there's 2 dots. And it was on a different computer. Huh. And there was a dude. Where's the dude going?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Uh-uh.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Bye, Zomo.
Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Door didn't
Stanley
close.
was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Right? Caution, do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. I can't jump. There's no jump button. This is a Minecraft ending? Maybe a swipe card. Don't have a swipe card. Warning, do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion, will cause death. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift, $1,000. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift, $5,000. Okay.
Look, Stanley, I
Automated?
think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Maybe.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
Who?
Someone you've forgotten about.
You?
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
For her who?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
Her who?
She's been waiting.
Who? Where? This is dark and scary.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the...
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. Oh,
Fresh baked bread?
Okay, there we go.
Apartment
All right,
427.
now, I want you to come in and tell me all about
Your damn
Gotcha!
Not
Oh,
cool.
Come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
You just lied to me. What's down here?
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Fine.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
She's kind of hot. Press 5 on your keyboard.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
You want me to just keep pressing buttons over and over just because you say so? I guess I don't have a choice. I'm just stuck in this tiny room.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Press Z to watch TV. I don't really have a choice.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
TV
First,
turned
he
into a
imagined
clock?
that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Spend time with the boys? What boys? I don't know what is going on.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
How was that spending time with the boys? Press V to prepare dinner?
As he wandered through this fantasy world,
What the
he
heck?
began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Huh. It's 5:33.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over.
The Boof
wishing
Squad
beyond hope
welcomes
that it
you.
would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Just one more time. Press 4 to tell your wife you love her. The mannequin? I don't really have a choice.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
This is turning back into my office where I started.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Press G to be at work in the morning. Back at the same desk at the same beginning. Like this room has gradually been transforming into my office. But he said not to press the button. Well, what else am I gonna do? I'm just gonna sit in this room forever? Can't do anything. Can I kill myself with the console? You know what? There is a console? It's not Tilda. What? I'm just supposed to sit here for like... And do what? Can't even go over this thing. There's another door. Can't open the door. I'm not supposed to press any buttons, though. What else am I supposed to do? At least if I press G, then something will happen. It's like better than nothing, right? Hey, some guy, welcome back. I don't know. I gotta do something. What is console? I don't know what the console is. None of the other buttons seem to do anything. The tilde. Yeah, I pressed the tilde. Tilde doesn't do anything. I'll do some squats. Ah. The voice in my head said not to press G. Zion, could you check the VOD from yesterday? There was one match you wanted me to highlight, but I was looking through it and I couldn't find which one it was. But if you want to check the VOD and let me know what time in the VOD it happened, then I can do it as a highlight to YouTube. But I gotta get better at marking down what time highlightable events occur, because the VOD was like 7 hours and it's hard to find the exact time of the match unless I write it down. I think I'm just gonna hit G. I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm not gonna sit here for hours. Let's do it. Let's do it.
You see? Can he just not hear me?
I can hear
How
you.
can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Press G to question nothing. Well, what else am I supposed to do? Voice in my head.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to.
Apparently not.
I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I...
What? I was supposed to push a button. I didn't push a button. Now it restarted. Oh my goodness. I think I'm ready to play some Mindplex now. This game is very interesting. Very interesting. There's so many more paths to go down. But, I don't know. One ending requires you to press 2 different buttons for 4 hours straight? What? That is crazy. Click 510 times on all the doors? I don't know. I'll have to play this more another day. That's like an hour and a half of Stanley Parable. Whoa! The menu is on the computer screen, is on the computer screen, is on the computer screen. It's recursive. Okay, well, very interesting. It's a very cool game. I will definitely be trying that some more.